What if you were wrong about absolutely everything? This is a very powerful thing to consider for yourself and your life. We are often so hesitant and so avoidant to admit anywhere that we are wrong. But as it turns out, oftentimes to make significant change in our lives, we have to say the magic words of, I was wrong. What if it was the case that you were wrong about how you understood diet and nutrition, for example? Especially think about the places in your life that you're not getting the results you want or where you're getting lackluster results. These are the places, especially, you may want to just outright assume that you're wrong. Perhaps maybe even wrong about in fundamentally your attitude. See, my other lecture named attitude. What if you were wrong in terms of your entire orientation towards reality, in terms of what you think you even want? What if you were wrong in understanding what you are existentially? What if you're wrong if you misunderstand what you think is going to make you happy, or what you think has been making you depressed? What if you were wrong in figuring out how you specifically focus, or in how you relate to people, in how you relate in the dating market? If you're a woman, what if you're wrong about how men think and operate and what men really want? If you're a man, what if you're wrong about what women really want, what women are really attracted to? Especially if you're not getting the results you want. Or think of a personal development endeavor that you have. Maybe you want to become more disciplined and focused. What if you're wrong even in your understanding of what discipline and focus even is and what that actually means? What if you're wrong in assuming that that technique that worked out there for that person is going to work for you? What if you're wrong about the time that you wake up in the morning and the time that you go to sleep? What if you're wrong about your habits and your digital habits specifically, and how much you use your phone, and maybe how productive you think you are with it? What if you're wrong in terms of wherever you're putting your eggs in, like whatever basket you're putting your eggs in, whatever you're actually investing your time and money in, the people that you think you're investing your time and money in, what if you're wrong in assuming that it's going to pay off? Where in your life are you making assumptions? If you're into spirituality and enlightenment, what if you're wrong about enlightenment existing at all? Like, or what if you're wrong about your current technique and way to get there is not going to get you there? It's just simply going to be too inefficient. What about the workout routine that you do? What if you're wrong about that being the best workout routine for you, or that actually working? Or what about your diet? What if you're wrong about your diet getting you towards your goals? What if you're wrong about the education that you're pursuing? and it actually not being a good fit for you. Wouldn't it be good to know that you're wrong about any of these things such that you can reorient yourself? Reorient yourself in a way that is more aligned with perhaps what works, what's more grounded to reality, what's more aligned to truth. What if you're wrong in understanding what's most important in life and what's most important for you? You know, if you're into self-improvement and stuff like that, maybe you're into several different habits. What if having those habits is completely wrong for you? How much of your life is conformity, where you saw some influencer do it and then therefore you're going to do it too? It's like, well, they got a bunch of good results, so I'm going to copy what they did. What if you're wrong about the amount of thought that you put into your life? How much time do you actually sit down and contemplate what your strategy for your life is? And, relative to your goals, what if your current orientation, you've been completely wrong about it and you've been going about it in the wrong way, creating a life of stress rather than creating peace of mind? What if you're wrong about what you value? I'll see individuals that are so stressed, and I'm like, do you not see the bigger picture of your life right now? Your life is meant to be experienced and enjoyed in this moment. Why are you creating all the stress for yourself? What if the goals that you're chasing is the wrong thing to chase? What if your way of even thinking about these goals is wrong? Oftentimes we conform to that idea of getting more and more and acquiring more achievements and results, only to find out later the biggest achievement and results is being able to be fully content with this moment and have peace with this moment and to be happy now, to have that inner joy now, to find salvation within. And be open to being wrong even then. How do you know you're right about anything? How do you know that you know things? What does it even mean to know? And what if you're wrong about the orientation of knowing being superior? What if not knowing was a more superior stance, a more truthful stance? What if being able to sit with not knowing was a more favorable position than trying to know? And yeah, I know what's going on. What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong about, what you set out to do in your life with your goals? Thinking that's going to make you happy. What if you're wrong about disciplining yourself into the wrong things? What if you're in the wrong career? Oftentimes, admitting that we're wrong means admitting that we've been doing something wrong for years. And these are the most dangerous places to be wrong because those are the least likely places that we want to look and want to admit to ourselves. Understand that the more you have invested your time into something and your life and your effort and especially your identity into something, the more difficult it is to genuinely inquire into whether or not you're wrong about it. For example, I was wrong to believe that I was a good fit for mechanical engineering. It only took me, going through college and finishing, and then getting some job and finding freelance work on the way, did I really realize that wasn't the best fit for me. And to say I was wrong, all that effort, the only thing I'm going to use from that is the personal development I gained in training myself to study like that, and the confidence and yada yada yada. I was wrong in thinking that I wanted to be an engineer. And that was a very courageous thing to say, actually no, I want to be more of a psychologist, a life coach, a therapist, a social worker. To completely shift in the opposite direction, polar opposite. But you can imagine how difficult that would be after spending so much time, money, effort, and to say, you know what? Heck, I was wrong. And what I got though was now I'm on a path where I'm way more resonant, where I care, and where I'm so much more interested. And life has opened up in a direction that I am personally interested in. Where are you wrong with, maybe you were in a marriage and you're like, you know what, I was wrong that thinking that this marriage was going to work out. Or a long-term relationship, I was wrong in continuing this relationship. Maybe it's a friendship. I was wrong to stay in this friendship. Maybe this friendship was less supportive than I realized. But because we were just friends for a number of years, I never really questioned it until it got bad enough. Or with any relationship. I think about my orientation towards what's important in reality and what actually fills me up. I was wrong to assume that I think everyone goes to either is in that phase or goes through that phase of assuming that just getting some career that or some job just to get some money, regardless of how interested you are, right? You quickly find out, like, man, I was wrong. I'm actually miserable doing this job of meaningless stuff. You realize that you'd rather take a lower paycheck for more meaning, more meaningful experiences. I was wrong in underestimating how important it was to understand my ADHD. To whatever extent it's present for me, I was wrong to assume that, to not really go in on a science onto it and really understand what it is and how is it actually a disability and how to actually work with it. I was wrong in that attitude towards ADHD. I was wrong in terms of not thinking about life as more around emotional mastery than anything. I was wrong in terms of my orientation towards truth and sense making, not putting those things first. I was wrong to not put my physical body's health first with certain jobs. I was wrong to not put emotional safety first in relationships when relationships start to get into hurtful or abusive territory. I was wrong about thinking what made me happy. I was wrong in assuming that I could be happy without discipline. Turns out discipline is actually really important for making me happy. Who would have thought? So this video here is just to really open your mind to what if you just assumed everything in your life you were wrong, where you questioned everything you do, everything you ate, every thought you had, every identity that you have. What if you just wipe that clean and where everything is up for debate, all the friends that you have, all the relationships that you have, the jobs you work or have worked, the money you've earned, the experiences you had or didn't have and said no to. What if you put on that perspective for a month where you questioned absolutely everything about how you did everything? What could you learn? And instead of being in a place of knowing and knowing what's right and knowing what's the best thing for you, sit in a state of not knowing. Maybe I don't know what's actually best for me. Maybe I actually don't know what I need. Or maybe I don't know what I really want in life. A lot of people underestimate and are wrong about the importance of figuring out what you want in life. And then they just float around, going to university, going through jobs, going through relationships, without even having a plan or an orientation or a defined life purpose. Thinking that this is just some sort of mysterious thing out there. It's like, no. Your life purpose and your values are the core things in your life to really understand. So many people are wrong about that, and then they're confused as to why they haven't built anything in their by the time they're in their 30s and 40s. So it's like you should have started in your late teens, early 20s around really getting that clarity on what you're about and what you want to create. A lot of people don't have an orientation of mastery towards their craft, when mastery can be one of the most satisfying things to have, to accumulate within yourself. So just notice all the opportunities that present themselves when you just admit that, I could be completely wrong about that. Thanks for watching.